It's Saturday, and it's time to talk technology with our tech expert, Luis Alvarez. He's the CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us now on Power Talk Radio. Luis, welcome back.
Thank you, my friend. How are you?
Doing really well. So this is a lot of things going on. It's the Labor Day weekend. It is also the weekend for the Monterey County Fair. I don't know if you and Ronnie are going to make it to the fair this year. I'm going out right after the show. You and I get done. I'm heading out to the fair because I've got to get out there at least one day every year.
We're actually going this evening to see a band that made up of people that live over in Harper Canyon off San Venancio.
Oh,
they're called the Harper Canyon Band. I think they play at 9 o'clock. I think they start at 8 and 9 o'clock over in the fairgrounds.
Oh, okay. So they're probably on one of the small stages.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know at 7:30 on the garden stage they're going to have Journey Revisited, which is a Journey tribute band, and they're supposed to be one of the best ones. So I bet you guys are going to be at that stage that's down near the Monterey Room.
Could be. Friends that live there said, "Hey, you want to come join us? We're going to listen to this band, and our neighbors are playing in it." And we said, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." So we're heading over there this evening.
Boy, I love the county fair. It is the one event, because jazz festivals are great, but if you go to the jazz festival, you tend to see a lot of people from out of town and people who like jazz. And if you go to Cali Roots, it's for reggae, it's younger people, a lot of people from out of town. But when you go to the county fair, it is the one event that everybody goes to. I mean, you get a cross-section of the entire population of Monterey County, and for the most part, it's locals that go to the county fair. And it's really a lot of fun because there's such a community feel to it. And I love going through, I like to look at visual arts, and I also go into what they call the home arts, where they make the pies and cakes and cookies, because those two areas, you go through there and you look at the names on, like, who made this plate of cookies with the blue ribbon, or who took this beautiful picture of the Bixby Bridge in black and white. And it may be the name of a neighbor. It may be the name of somebody in the community that you know, and you're like, wow, I didn't know this person had that talent. Boy, that's so cool. And that's one of the neat things about the Monterey County Fair. I think that is something that is common to probably every county fair across the country.
Yeah, I think people just love getting together and seeing their friends and neighbors, and maybe people you haven't seen in a long time, but also seeing all the things that those same friends and neighbors have created, or, in the case of the animals, raised and are selling and things like that. It's just a fun, wholesome way to enjoy the day.
It's the one time you can give yourself an excuse to eat cotton candy and corn dogs.
Exactly.
You got to have that fair food. All righty. Well, hey, we've got a great topic today, and it's about the streaming wars. We used to have cable wars back in the 90s and the early parts of the 21st century. It was the big battles between all the cable providers, but really the cable providers, as we know them, the Comcast, Xfinities, and the Charters and the rest of them, they're kind of the horse and buggy whoops stage of their evolution right now. They're going backwards, and they are being supplanted by streaming services. And what we want to talk about today is YouTube TV, which has gotten so big, so popular over the last few years. But with that popularity comes, from content providers, demands for much more money in the forms of the streaming rights that somebody like YouTube TV would pay to a particular network to be able to rebroadcast or to stream their content. And that's always where the sticking point is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because of all the cable cord cutting, as we've been talking about for the last 10 years, I think, more and more traditional news channels have started to find themselves needing to participate in these streaming services in order to reach their viewers. Because, before you had the antenna, then the antennas gave way to cable, and now cable's given way to streaming services. So having your channel on YouTube, for example, and their bundled TV service is something of a requirement if you want to continue to connect with your viewers. But the challenge is that now companies like YouTube and Amazon Prime's another example, they're pretty much becoming just like the cable companies themselves, providing all of these channels and all of these things that maybe viewers don't want to watch, but yet they're paying for it. So, they're bundling all these services, saying, look at all these great channels that we give you, but now your $35 a month cheap streaming service is costing you $100 a month. So there's a lot of pushback around that, but there's also all these negotiations that have to take place by the TV channels and the traditional carriers to try to get on all of these different streaming services, and it can get complicated.
Right. And I think one of the other things that we as consumers have to understand is that there's, the old cause and effect that goes on. So when you're watching the news and a story comes up that says that such and such network is going to pay the NBA, as an example, or Major League Baseball or the NFL, their rights fees are going to go up by 50%. In other words, the TV network is going to pay that league 50% more than they're paying them now. Well, okay, that may be great for your team because, your favorite team is going to get a bigger share of the pie so they can buy better players, etc., etc. But where do you suppose the money is coming from that the network is going to pay to the professional sports league or even the college football conferences? Where's the money coming from? It's coming from the people watching TV.
Absolutely.
And that means that $75 a month streaming fee that you pay to YouTube or to whomever is necessarily going to go up because you're going to want to watch those games on that streaming service. The content provider, whether it's Fox or CBS or NBC or whomever, ESPN, comes back to the streamer and says, well, if you want to carry our streaming channels and our sports and all this stuff, it's going to cost you this much more because they have to be able to pay those rights fees somehow. And it's all monies come from end users, period. End of story. I mean, that's the one thing to remember, Lewis, is at the end of the day, the person staring at the television screen, you're the one who's going to be paying for everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's whether you're paying for it by paying for the right to watch the channel or buying the products that are advertised, the consumer at the end of the day is the one that is going to pay the price.
Yeah, always. That is the way it has always worked. And the thing is that what I understand, what I see happening in the rights world is that the rights terms are getting shorter and the dollars are increasing a lot more every time. So people aren't signing 7 or 10-year deals. Now they're doing 3 and 5-year deals with the leagues. And so that means that price pressure on the consumer is going to be a lot more frequent because those rights fees only seem to be going in one direction, and that's up. And that means that our monthly television watching bill is going to be going up, plain and simple.
Yeah. Just by way of example, I was original subscriber to the NFL Ticket, which is, that channel, that service that used to be on DirecTV.
Yes.
That would let you watch all the NFL games. And of course, as a Dolphins fan out here living on the West Coast, it was really the only way that I could make sure that I could see the Dolphins games.
Because you just can't get enough pain, can you?
Exactly. I like to suffer on Sundays. But that cost me $99 a year in 1994, 1995. Today, it's $522 a year.
Man, that's way above the rate of inflation.
Yeah, way above the rate of inflation.
Wow.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan, and that's what YouTube now, they're the ones carrying the NFL Ticket, they get that fans like me are going to pay the price if they can afford it to watch their teams play. So I just have to give up something else like food, but I get to watch my Dolphins.
Well, and one of the interesting things about this too is we look at these prices, the way it upends the market as well, Lewis, is that the problem that like the dish satellite providers and the traditional corded cable, they have this tremendous infrastructure to maintain. So you get the same number of channels on YouTube TV, a streaming service, for like $75, $80 a month that you pay $125 or $150 a month to Comcast. Because what you're paying for with Comcast is the maintenance of all of that cable that's attached to those telephone poles all over the country. Also, you're paying for, say, the dish and the other network. Well, where does that all come from? Somebody has to come out to your house and install a dish. That equipment has to be maintained. The equipment has to be warehoused. They pay carriage time to be on satellites to shoot those signals down to people. It's tremendously expensive. These legacy systems are tremendously expensive to maintain, and they have to have a certain, there's a certain number of subscribers they need to maintain themselves. And the problem that Dish and traditional cable companies are facing is that they are falling below those numbers to maintain their networks. And so they'll probably both end up at some point down the line in the next 10 years, they'll both cease to exist because everything will, or so many people will have migrated to the streaming services that there just won't be enough people left. Any sort of a critical mass to have these other providers maintain what they're doing.
Yeah, and the old infrastructure with the physical cable and all the other stuff that it takes to manage that is very expensive. I think that those carriers are going to be moving to streaming themselves and leave behind all that legacy cable infrastructure.
I think you're right. All righty. That's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us today here on Power Talk Radio, which is 101.1 FM and 1460 AM. And Luis, what is the toll-free number for the I-Team?
Give us a call at 866-78 my team. That's 866-784-8326.
And of course, online, it's alvareztg.com. At AlvarezTG is the X handle. Lewis, looking ahead to Monday, we've got another interesting topic to jump into.
If you're a fan of learning languages and are looking to maybe purchase Duolingo, you might want to tune in and see how you can do the same thing for free.
All right. See, that means that you don't have to enlist in the Army and get sent to the DLI to learn a foreign language.
Exactly.
All right. Lewis, thanks so much and have a great weekend.
You too, my friend. Take care.